Life is just like the threshold of pain that you're willing to deal with. And so I think
Welcome to Numbers and Nonsense. I'm Joe Nolan, and joined with me as he is every week, it's Aaron Holtzman. Aaron, how you doing today?
Hey, I'm doing great, Joe. I'm very excited for today's episode.
I honestly cannot wait. I know we had a chance in the last episode, just you and I, to talk. So I think today we're just going to cut to the chase and maybe jump right in and bring our guest on stage. But before we do, Aaron, could you maybe give us a little bit of a inner or high level of who our guest is and why we're talking with him?
Yeah. So our guest today is Harry Callahan. He's an attorney that I've known for over 5 years now. He's from the Northeast, like myself, moved to Austin, Texas. And aside from just being a great partner that I tag team clients with on the professional side, I also just am able to bounce ideas off of him constantly about starting our own businesses, real estate, hospitality. Him and I jive so well together because we're so similar in the sense of we're not just professional service providers, but actual people that own other businesses and real estate and hospitality as well.
Absolutely, Aaron. And of course, our conversation today is going to be brought to you once again by Legacy Business Plans. Make sure you take a look at their website, legacybusinessplans.com. Jenny and her team doing a terrific job of helping people looking to acquire a business, expand, or start their own, put together a lender-ready business plan that'll help you understand the unknown unknowns and help a lender understand your story. We'll talk more about them at the end here. But Aaron, without further ado, maybe we can go ahead and bring our guest on.
Get on up here, Harry. Good to see you, bud. How you doing today?
I'm great. I'm flattered. I appreciate that. But just a sort of preliminary matter, I really am excited that you guys are doing this. When you guys did your first episode, we shared it. I've been bashful about kind of being active on LinkedIn, sharing things and stuff. But we sort of got some advice, and we have a marketing person in the firm now, and so we've been more active on it and sharing your stuff, and it's so cool that you guys are doing this. You guys are such great people that I admire and respect so much, and it's so cool that you guys are doing this. So I'm very glad to be here.
Oh, thank you, Harry. I want to put that on a plaque, just say like admired and respected by Harry Callahan, and just hang that in my office right next to my CPA license. That's how much I would hold that regard.
I wish I deserved that, but I appreciate it. Thank you.
I got to say, Harry, I've had a chance to meet you through Aaron, and I can definitely see how you guys have connected and really hit it off down in Austin. I see a lot of similarities between you both being in professional services, working for other people, but having that entrepreneurial itch, not just to own your own practice and sort of direct your own firms, but also you guys are extremely active in the entrepreneurial space outside. If I had $1 for every time Aaron called me with a new investment idea, I wouldn't need to be doing this podcast.
I love it. That's great. I think just being in our professions, obviously CPAs and lawyers, and obviously Joe, as a banking and lending professional, I think we have sort of the two sides of our lives. We have the advisory capacity where we're service providers for other people. We're seeing all of their problems. We're kind of holding their hands. Especially being a lawyer, a lot of our work is sort of just being a psychologist and just knowing and experiencing, rolling with the punches, just allowing our clients to kind of get it out, analyze the problem, figure out where they are, and just stick them in. So that, and then wanting to do it yourself and run your own business, not just the professional services business, but all the other businesses that we get into. I think there's sort of an entrepreneurial like kind of world and kind of cottage industry, and we're just kind of running businesses. We're kind of starting these businesses and running them, and they're not really these sort of, at least I don't think of them as sort of entrepreneurial endeavors. It's kind of like, first of all, I don't really have a choice, but it was like, this is just kind of what we do. So it's great to find like-minded people, and in our sort of greater networks of people, it's really it's cool to find people that you can do that with. And we also have we all have a similar sort of background, both practicing in Texas and in New York. Those are sort of two markets. I'm actually originally from the Midwest, from Chicago, but having that sort of, especially since Austin and now Dallas, obviously all over Texas, it's bringing so much of that New York energy now, and with it, all the kind of businesses that we're bringing. I mean, there's just I think 20 minutes ago, I connected Aaron with another
Yep.
referral. We're always cross connecting, and obviously we're not doing it for shits and giggles. We're doing, can I say that? Shits?
Yeah.
Oh yes, absolutely.
We're doing it because it's when you refer competent professionals, it's better for your business. So having a network of of highly competent professionals that you can cross refer business to and really take care of your clients and solve their problems is it's a huge benefit. So
I mean, I love being able to send potential borrowers to you guys. Aaron and I have talked a lot about how important it is to build a great team in order to be successful, not just with the acquisition, but post-acquisition. And knowing that you guys are very aligned with how I think, based around the ideas of empathy and respect, but also professionalism, is just something that I can have a lot of confidence in, because there's a lot of people that can do the work, but there's not a lot of people that are going to be beneficial to my borrowers in the whole process. But maybe we could even take 2 steps back. Harry, tell us a little bit about what your core focus is and how you started your own practice.
Sure. I mean, just to fast forward, our firm's called Warren, Calley & Maddox. We are, like I said, we're here in Austin, Texas. We are in New York City as well. So we have offices in both, and we also have a presence in San Antonio. So those are kind of the 3 markets we cover. I've been practicing in New York City for about 16 years. I've been in New York City almost 25 years. It's our leadership team is myself, my partner Allison Maddox, and our chief of staff Priscilla Vargas. They've been with me since the very beginning. We are a legacy firm, so I was doing some work with Bill Warren, he's like a legend in Austin real estate law. Wonderful guy. He was so we'd been talking to him, and he was sort of looking for his succession, and we were talking, and then the pandemic happened, and I was actually in-house counsel for a portfolio company called Blue Soul Lane. It's part of RSC Ventures, which is the investment arm of related companies. And I was the in-house general counsel for them. I also, part of my deal with them is I could continue my solo practice. I had a solo practice for a number of years before that. He was, I knew he focused on litigation and then the multifamily housing industry. And so he was looking for a succession, and we started talking. I learned the business. We did the deal, and he retired. We did an SBA deal with that. Allie and Priscilla were working at the firm, and they trusted me. I don't know why, but I'm very grateful, because they are the engine. They are the engine room here. They're just as important to this firm as I am. So, particularly because they both come from support backgrounds. They were both paralegals for a very long time. Priscilla still manages our support team and our paralegals and our legal assistants. But Allie was a paralegal for a very long time as well. And, I'll reverse in, but I started running my own businesses and that's a very administrative heavy job. So I learned that, from the ground up. So, all 3 of us are very administrative, that's a very important functionality with us. So we're very we're like a bottom up business. We were sort of flat in that way. We view ourselves as a legal services company. Obviously we're lawyers, and we have ethical and professional obligations, but we never allow attorneys to think that they're above support we view them as more flat, and we treat them as more flat. So that's kind of the business structurally. But we're business lawyers, so we focus on we're practice industry focused. So we focus on hospitality industry, the multifamily property industry, and then we focus on SMB and LMM, M&A, and then we sort of act as general counsel in that regard to those industry partners. But when you get into the M&A, SMB M&A space, and sort of business advisory, business litigation, we're a little more agnostic about the industry focus. But we do business litigation, business disputes. We do corporate structuring, transaction counseling. We do L&T litigation, very big book of L&T litigation. We do fair housing discrimination. We do sort of all general counsel for these industries. And then we have a big book of M&A, of structuring business transactions. We work with Texas Association of Business Brokers. We're active with that. So we help people buy and sell businesses, bolt on, roll up, everything in those worlds, and then access capital from small business lenders. And then we do larger sort of transactional stuff within our industry folks. Like in the hospitality industry, we'll do fundraisers for restaurants. We'll do all of their subscriptions and PPMs and the capital raising. And it's, like I said, we are focused on that, but we're agnostic on the edges. Like we'll do retail brands. We're helping a very famous hat maker in town in Austin grow its business. We've got, CPG juice companies. We've got, stuff like that. So, health and wellness brands, whatever. So that's kind of what we do. We try to be more generalists, although we do have kind of specific, we have very specific knowledge about things. But again, we're not like, when we are on calls with clients, we'll have associates on and paralegals, and we're collaborative about the process. We're all throwing around multiple documents at the same time. It's not just one person working on one matter. So in that regard, we kind of get a blended approach. It also economically works. We're very value driven. We're not the cheapest firm out there by any means. There are people who will do contracts for you at a flat fee. They'll do your eviction for it, whatever it is. That's fine, and that's totally fine, and that's great. But we don't view things that way. Our rates are in line with medium-sized, sort of high-level boutique, medium-sized firms in our markets. So, and we're very proud of it. And we love our clients. We love to see. We view ourselves as partners to our clients. We love to see them succeed. We do not rake them over the coals for fees. We're referral based only. So we rarely take retainers. We'll do flat fee engagement things when we do like licensing or entitlement work, because of the volume of things going on and the amount of things we just don't know that'll come at us when we're dealing with like state or municipal agencies. But generally speaking, we want to see our clients succeed, because if they succeed, then they'll keep coming back to us. They'll refer us to their friends and their partners, and so we've just built this. And Bill was great at that. He kind of instilled that, and other mentors I've had over the years instilled that. So that's our sort of those are our values and our focus. I guess to answer I don't want to take all the air out of it, but I guess that's what I'm here for. So
no, please. Yeah.
But anyway, so just going back, I went to Emory University for undergrad, Brooklyn Law School for law school. I could tell you all of the like missteps and stupid shit I did over the course of my career. I ended up being like a music, jazz performance, and economics major in undergrad, chemistry minor, and pre-med, and blah blah blah. And
a modern Renaissance man is what. Well,
just a little bit like didn't know what I was doing, to be honest with you. But always had a pretty decent work ethic. So when I start something, well, that's not actually true. when I see the writing on the wall, I'm out. But generally speaking, I can see things too. So
Sounds like you're 100% until you're 0%.
right, exactly. Well, I've gotten better over the years, but at least in those days, it was like, all right, just figure something out. But anyways, just fast forward, I actually ended up going to law school, and I got an opportunity. So while I was in law school, I was like, the focus was going to be sort of entertainment. I'm a musician. I was a jazz performance major. I had started a arts and theater production company early on in my career with some close friends of mine from Northwestern. Actually, one of those guys went on to be a very big Hollywood producer. He produced what was that movie? La La Land with
oh wow.
So he's a great guy, but it was actually his buddy from Northwestern, who's my high school buddy. We started this arts theater production company. I just caught up with him recently. He's doing great. Anyway, so we so I kind of was like, all right, I want to be in that world, but I had been a bartender and a nightclub promoter. I actually started my career in New York to make money on the side. I was a nightclub promoter, and so I was promoting in all these clubs, and I was like just running amok, whatever. And so I was like, I was like, why am I running around making all this money for all these other guys when I can just do something myself? So I got an opportunity with a very good friend of mine, who's now a very good friend of mine, but a guy I had literally met once. We met at a bar. He had this little bar down on Broome Street. And they were looking for an operating partner to come in and put some money in, turn around. He's one of my closest friends to this day, like a brother now. Which to be fair, I'm still friends with my middle school and high school buddies. So I have a very strong, like, don't burn bridges perspective on life. I also have the NVIDIA founder. He has a very distinct aversion to firing people, and I have the same thing. I'm like, I will just keep busting you till you get good, because that's what I needed.
That's what mentorship is. That's what coaching is.
That's right. I needed that in my life. I needed somebody to just like stay on top of me, even though I was like, messing up left and right. Stay on top and just like do the right thing until like I figured it out and like it clicked. So anyway, we had this opportunity to sort of buy out some of his partners and come in, and we turned it into this bar group called the Randolph, which today it's called Randolph Beer. The names, well, I think they're going back to Randolph just because the beer thing is whatever. I'll leave that to him because he runs the company now. But we started this company, and it was this dive bar on Broome Street, and it was we brought in the cocktail makers. In those days, mixology was like not a thing. It was like a very obscure, very New York, obviously.
Harry, what year was this? Just so we know what those days mean.
2006.
That doesn't feel like those days to me, man.
Yeah, it's like this is a long time ago, so forgive me if I get the dates on or about 2006. So I was in law school, and I had started, and so I didn't have any like particular skills, and like I wasn't a chef or anything. I'd been a short order cook for a little bit, but I was a promoter. So and I could go shake anybody's hand and like convince them to come have a beer or whatever. So we started this bar, and it became like, and we went, and in those days mixology was like just starting. There's a place called Milk and Honey, which is now a very famous bar called Attaboy, which was the founder of that bar was just an amazing, prolific guy in the cocktail world. His name was Sasha Petrasky. And so I became friends with Sasha. He had a guy working with him named Matty G, who's a lovely, lovely guy. And he came and helped us open this sort of rock and roll cocktail bar. And that's what we did. And it just went gangbusters. I mean, just gangbusters. It was amazing. I mean, from night one, just lines down the street. I mean, I didn't have any budget. I just, I wrote a check, put money in. I'm like, okay, we'll figure it out, blah, blah, blah. Obviously, Aaron, you've advised we have mutual clients who I've done these deals with. I've gotten smarter over time, but it was just like shake the hand, doing the thing. So anyways, that place blew up. I started my law practice in the basement of that bar. So I was like the bar guy / lawyer. I was also kind of promoting here and there. And I just would meet people and say, oh, I'm a lawyer. I could do your, I started doing like liquor licenses and leases and like just small entitlements, little contract disputes, blah, 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 blah. But at the same time, I was running over to Queens and handling like DUIs and whatever, like depositions for per diem depositions on like my little bike in my little pinstripe, the one suit I had. Anyways, so that did really well, and we just expanded that company. I'm very grateful to my partners there, and who are all my friends. We grew that company into a real thing. And anyway, so along the way, I got some other opportunities. I opened a nightclub. It was called Riff Raffs with a very probably one of the biggest restaurateurs in New York City right now. His name's Michael Stillman, who's still a good friend. We started a nightclub called Riff Raffs. That blew up. It started the careers of a lot of very important guys in New York City nightlife, and who have expanded into other things. Some very big DJs kind of cut their teeth there. So, which that's not my type of music, but God bless. I was wrong on that. So, by the way, mea culpa. Anyways, so we did that, and the career just kind of grew from there. And then along the way, a lot of like the clients I had became targets of investment and private equity acquisitions, things like that. I became the general counsel of a company called Bluestone Lane. I mean, I was literally like, they had one little store. We did their first holiday party at we had opened our beer bar down the street called Randolph Beer, which was like, it was kind of the New York City's first craft beer bar. And I don't want to take that credit, but that was kind of what it was. And so the founder of that company is still a good friend. And so, I mean, I just was very involved. I mean, he was still working at a big Australian investment bank. And I was like, you got to leave this job and go do this full time and blah, blah, blah. And he's now like, I mean, he's all over the place in a good way. But anyway, so I got that opportunity and that company got acquired. So anyways, through that, I got very first-hand experience and actual working experience on how to do these deals. And I helped with our own deal. We did a deal like this. And so I just kind of learned on the job, which was like amazing. I mean, you can't learn no better way.
There's no better way to learn than from the school of hard knocks. And once you start to sort of stick yourself out there trying to do things, especially in New York, the permits, the health inspections, the licenses, and then that has nothing to even do with the egos that go into doing something that becomes an overnight success.
Yes, absolutely.
With all that experience and consulting on so many different deals, what are some things that you've seen that are like common traits in the people that make it? And maybe just as importantly, what are some things you've seen in the people that end up crashing out?
Well, I'll tell you what, I think grit, and I would wake up in the morning excited to go meet clients. I mean, I can't even explain to you. It's just wherewithal are so important, because I don't know where it shifted for me, because in those days I was just like, it goes in ebbs and flows. Now we have, our firm has grown considerably. I mean, we have, we've grown considerably, and there's a lot of people management now, and even the other businesses that I'm involved in. I just to finish up that, I came down to Austin in 2017, and I sort of saw the writing on the wall. I was doing some work for some small landlords in Brooklyn, and they're like, "Oh, can you help us with I saw the job you did for the restaurant. Can you help me with some of my tenants in this building and blah, blah, blah." So I kind of learned that stuff. And so even that, it was like, here's an opportunity to kind of learn something, and from some guys giving me an opportunity, and I just people giving me an opportunity, and I just was like, all right, let me just go do this. So I think that I was lucky in that respect, that I was always, but I will say that, like, when you're kind of making jumps from like, okay, every day I wake up and I'm so excited about this, that goes away, because the only way that you're going to grow is by getting uncomfortable. You've got to take risk. You got to take loans out. You got to you got to be told, doors slammed in your face and you're not, and people around you are like, oh, that's never going to happen. Whatever. Like, you just got to like get, and so that, that's just the bummer. And so your ability to wake up every day and say, I'm doing this, and it wears down on you. So the wherewithal and the grit. It's not really like grit. Like, this stuff isn't like rocket science. It's not so complex. It's just tedium. It's like nonstop tedium. And it's like, okay, I've got to respond to this. I've got to get to this and do this and like respond to this and go out, even though I am just like bleeding out, tired. I got to go out, put on a smile and go shake some hands right now. Like, you know what I'm saying? And then I got to go like put this thing together. And especially when you're an entrepreneur, or, small business person, you're doing a lot of this stuff yourself. So you don't have a lot of resources. You don't have people to help you. And so like, you got to do all this stuff. Then you got to talk to Aaron and get him what he needs for this. And then you got to do this. And then you go look at this thing. If you want to do this deal or do this, or, it's, and in our world as lawyers, we have to read documents and review them. And then we have to be on calls where they're like, very monotonous kind of, you're just like, okay, we're talking about a comma for like 6 hours. Like, can we move on?
It's not a comma with a number or anything.
Right.
Like that.
Exactly. Right. So I guess it's having the wherewithal and grit to just be like, okay, I'm doing this because like, and reminding yourself why you love it and like continuing to do it. So that's what I would say is the common thread. It's also the ability, I think, to get shit off your plate. Like, I'm not Kevin O'Leary or I'm just a dude trying to make it in this world. Just it's like you guys. So I'm not trying to like preach anybody, but if you're the type of person who has like unread emails and like unread texts and like beep and bops on your notifications and this, and like, first of all, like, we're not the place for you or any of my businesses, but like, that is an important thing. You have to be able to get to things now, because you get things out of the way and there's just a whole new slew. These few things are just holding more things out. And the more that you can take on, the bigger you'll be. I mean, that's what I've realized. Like, Jerry Seinfeld talks about, he's like, life.
It's something that I think Aaron and I have talked about in another way, but I loved how you're sort of approaching it. Getting shit off your plate, getting stuff done can be a absolute essential employee at a $2 million company. And that exact same person can be a choke point at a $5 million or $10 million a year company. Yes. Because you can scale to how far your processes allow you to. And what tends to happen is, as you grow, either you learn to delegate, so remove that choke point, or you stay at that size and get frustrated that you can't grow and you try everything except for delegating.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, that's an initiative in our firm right now. I mean, we are at a very critical point. I mean, we're growing, we've grown from, 3 people to 14, and we're growing. I mean, we have someone who's an associate with us for a couple of years, left to go work with a big global firm. She's in Hyderabad, India, and she's growing out. We're working on the pieces to build out that business for her in Hyderabad, India. And she's Texas licensed, so she does work for us. But like, it's like little pieces like that. It's like you can't, your job switches. Your job switches from doing work to teaching people how to do the work and then getting out of their way and then moving and course correcting. I don't know the secret to that. There are people who are really good at that. And I see people, I'm like, oh, they don't even, I see people who run businesses and they're just like growing and growing. And they're like, I'm like, they don't even know how to do that. I'm like, they don't need to know how to do that. And like, that's something that I've tried to learn. It's like, you don't need to get into everything. Just do the thing and pass it on and teach the person and trust them, and really teach them, show them how to do it, and then course correct, and then get out of the way and then move on. And then you build, and then The weight of the thing you've built is the thing that gives you the leverage to proceed. Like otherwise you're just getting in your own way. I don't know this, that's why we're doing this. We're talking about it and trying to do it. But in a lot of things, that's been a thing that I've really had to I've had to focus on, kind of getting out of my own way and just putting systems in place and then trusting. Yeah.
And Harry,
I was going to say, Aaron, you're at a very similar point in your firm where you've been able to scale and grow it over the last few years and starting to figure out, okay, how can we get to this next level? Like, how have you been sort of facing that same issue or same problem?
I feel like that's the plight of the entrepreneur / small business owners. How do you get over that hump? Because when it's just yourself or maybe you and one other partner, you're going, okay, we're making enough to sustain ourselves. And when you're thinking about capacity, you're going, okay, I'm at 100% capacity. To go from 100% capacity to bring on enough work to justify that first hire, what capacity do you have to be at to be able to support them and yourself? So maybe you have to go to 180 or even 200% capacity, which means you're running yourself ragged. Then you get that second person. So again, for that to get to the third person, each of you now have to be at 150 capacity. Now you get the third person. So it's a little bit of a snowball. Once you get to 5, 6, 7 people, not saying it gets easier in a sense of growing your team, it gets easier in a sense of spreading work out. So the problems change from going, okay, I need to do this much work to justify hiring this person to, okay, now I need to start doing less work so I can spread the work out to the people that I already have and manage them. And 10 people working at 110% of capacity is a lot more sustainable on the whole team to bring on that 11th person than it is for a team of 2 or 3 to be working at 150% capacity to get to that third or fourth person. And one of the other things, Harry, that I just want to do a quick TLDR for people that maybe missed these nuggets in when you were talking about your experience and everything, Harry, because again, there were a lot of good things to take away. One of the things you said was that you felt like you're lucky. And there's a quote, I Googled it real quick by a guy named Samuel Goldwyn, never heard of him, but the quote is, the harder I work, the luckier I get. And I mean, that's really the truth of it. I mean, you are a testament to throw shit against a wall, see what sticks. I mean, you and I connected because I met a bookkeeper at a networking event that I didn't want to go to, and she put us in touch. And for anyone that is looking into becoming a business owner or even just networking in general, just say yes. Just take that meeting. Just do it. Two things are honestly, I kind of liken it to when I was just dating before I met my wife. I'm like, this is practice. If I meet the girl I'm going to marry, this is great. If not, I'm at least not going to be an awkward conversationalist when I do meet the person I'm supposed to marry. That's kind of how it works with being a client, growing your business, and finding opportunities. Yeah. Not everything has to be, and when you walk away from a conversation, you go, oh, I mucked that up so bad. Totally shat the bed. You're like, okay, cool. Who cares? Like, there's going to be another conversation, and
you're exactly right. The way I view it, and I try to impart this on, anybody who'll listen, it's like doing it is the value. Just do it. Just doing it is the value. Podcast. Yeah, doing it is the value. Like, it's not really the product; it's the experience, and that's what. And when I talked about, like, I've gotten into other things now. I have a real estate business. I have a holdco. I have I don't think we discussed this, but I don't know if it's relevant or not. But in addition to being an attorney, I own a lot of restaurants and bars. I'm in various capacities. I have, I'm a very active person in certain things. I'm just a passive shareholder in others. I put deals together. I get equity for representing people and doing deals. So I have lots of different kind of involved. But in all of those things, it's like, do I want to do this? It's not really about like, what's my this and that. And that may be right or wrong, but I think the first impulse has to be like, do I want to do this? You got to trust yourself enough and trust like how much experience and how much you've been through to say, you know what, I will know if I want to do this, that means it's right for me. That means it's right for me. It's right for my family. And then I can like do all the analysis later. I think you hit the nail on the head. I think you have to just go out there and, just You got to treat it like, well, I'll say this also. I mean, we all have, you know, a little bit of gray in our beards here. And look,
Definitely more gray than I did when I started my firm.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I mean, still none of my hair, but that's coming soon, I can tell. In our type of businesses, we are relied upon to be highly competent, to be like sage and wise and calm, and that that type of skill is only developed through experience.
Yep.
And we know that intimately. Like you can learn things, but this happens through experience and just being okay. I know what this, and that's going to take time. And so to do this, you can't do this when you're like in your 20s. There's no way. First of all, you won't even have your degree yet, but like,
yeah.
Did I just pause?
No, you're good.
There we are.
We heard you. We heard you the whole time.
You can't do this, and you can't even do it. Like, it's just a thing that you can't even get to until you're kind of around our ages, which I don't want to say, but anyways, you can't even get to that point until you're a little older. I mean, you see all these guys or people, excuse me, on these like podcasts and all these things, and they're talking about creating teams and doing the thing, and that's great. And those are big businesses, but like, we're not doing that. We are creating, and we will create big businesses if we want to, but like, this is a different type of thing. Like, to create a law firm that has whatever, let's just say like 100 attorneys in it, takes a long time of like, you're building like loyalty and trust. You're selling to not only to your outside clients, but the internal professionals that you work with. So it's you're constantly like selling to them, showing them that it's valuable for them to bring their brain trust here. It's the same thing with, professionals with accounting and it's a business that takes longer to develop. So like anybody out there that's like looking at these like young founders of tech companies, that is not the template for, they're like idea-based things. They go
also that's clickbait. They may make it, they may not. They're out there trying to make money. And I can't tell you how many times I have clients coming to me going, oh, I saw this on TikTok or I saw this on YouTube. And I'm just like, okay, have them sign an affidavit saying if there's a negative tax, decision that they're going to cover the liability for it. Because at the end of the day, those people aren't professionals in that sphere. I mean, again,
how many times I've seen
the entertainment,
the trust S corp, all right, just okay, it's good
for flat 20,000. I'll do it for you,
right? Yeah. But I'm not. I'm not besmirching. And as these guys start these great companies and these big idea companies, but like if you want to be a big a big restaurateur, for instance, I have lots of big restaurateur clients and very close friends and top clients who are top chefs, and it takes time to develop it. I mean, at first you're building a business where you got to raise all this money and you've got these partners and this, and then like maybe you get fucked, maybe you don't. You build the thing, but you're constantly getting your name out there. Like, it takes time. I mean, you think about those old one of our clients represent the Paul Caucasus. They're amazing. They have all Harry Stone Street, Harry Polakakis. The guy's, I don't know how he is. He's like in his late 80s, 90s. This guy's in his 90s, and every night, and forgive me if he's not still with us, but because I don't know. But at least from my memory, every night the guy would go to a different one of his restaurants and go sit with the GM of that restaurant and have an aperitif. Every night at 90. I mean, this is a lifelong endeavor. It's not like a build it, sell, and if you want to do that, that's great. But like, I don't have any advice on how to do that. All I have advice is how to build something that you can like grow and run and like raise your family on. And hopefully that's what I'm trying to do too. So
let me throw something at both of you guys, because I actually had a really interesting conversation yesterday. Talked with a guy who used to work with me, a little bit older now. He's doing legal recruiting, lateral legal recruiting. And he's been working with a company for a couple years. And he says, you know what? I really don't see what they do that's all that special. I want to start out on my own. What do I actually need to do? What does it take to be a successful entrepreneur, to start my own business? And it was so interesting talking with him, because he has the sales side down, but the actual business side, he's like, we were talking about, okay, what's the difference in what I take home if I do one placement a quarter or 3 placements a quarter? how many placements do I need to do to actually justify hiring a staff? Do I need to be doing blast email marketing? So if you were to talk to someone who's maybe considering doing their own professional, B2B business, which is, recruiting, CPA, attorney, SBA lender, I think it's something that we're all in. What advice would you give to someone about how to decide, is this something you just do as yourself as a solo entrepreneur, or how do you decide if it's time to scale and add people underneath you?
Well, I have a horse in the race with this, but don't use LegalZoom. Just don't.
Yeah, don't. Please don't. Please don't.
You just don't do that. Anyways, starting the business is not a complex thing. Starting the business requires some like state filings and some structuring and whatever. Obviously I have a horse in the race, but find a competent business attorney and find a good accountant. Those are the first two things you need. You don't need a lot of money to start things. You need to plant a flag. You need to put a flag in the ground and move. Like, just put it in there and move, whatever it takes. Get it in there. Start talking about it. Create an Instagram account. Put up a website. Do the things that will start focusing you in that direction. And then, go out and learn it. Like other people out there, I found the same thing. Like, I'm not an Ivy League guy. I'm very happy with my education, but there are other people out there who have done it and done it really, really well. Go find out what they've done. I insofar as Googling literally like people I want to be like, I've Googled them and looked at their history. I could tell you, at least in those, I could tell you the history of like every successful chain restaurateur. I literally can tell you right now. And now I can tell you about people who have started different companies. Who you want to emulate, find it, and then find the resources to figure out how they did it. It's really not that complicated to get there. It takes time, and it takes grit, and it takes vigor. Yep. But there is a path to getting there. You just have to plant the flag and go towards it. Find a good business attorney, find a good accountant, and move forward in that direction. It doesn't take that much to do it, but you have to get started. I know it's kind of cliche, but you really do have to get started with that first thing. It may not be perfect. I know a lot of people in sort of like the ETA world, and that they're sort of averse to restaurants and whatever. We do a ton of work in the restaurant industry. I mean, we work with the Texas Restaurant Association. We did a webinar with them about SB 823, about the new shrimp labeling bill. Very obscure. Check it out. It's on our LinkedIn. But
I saw, yeah. About
anyways,
sourcing, yeah.
But we do a lot of work with them as well, and other trade organizations, and there's a reason why every immigrant comes to this country and goes and starts. Every immigrant from India or China or Mexico, they go start an Indian restaurant, because it's business that's it's immediate money. And if you do it right and you have it's on the ground type business, it's real business. So somebody comes and they're like, okay, I want to do this concept in this restaurant. I'm always like, look, find a distressed asset, find a second gen space. It may not be perfect. It may not be the best neighborhood, it may not be all these things, but there are a few things that you need to have covered, and then go. We just helped. I'm not going to say because I'm not at liberty to say, but this is very well-known chef. He's starting his first place. I literally had coffee with him and I said, dude, and he's saying the same thing. And he's a very prominent chef. I said, look, do this now. We went and saw space. I did it. He's literally opening this fall, and it's going to be the best restaurant in Austin. I'm telling you right now.
Harry, you'll have to plug that on LinkedIn later. We'll repost.
I will. I want to get consent from him first. But the guy's
of course,
wonderful, genius. Anyways, you got to just find the thing and just go do it. It's not going to be perfect. It's not going to fulfill all your fantasies of what it is, but you just got to get your foot in the door and go do it. And then you just grow it from there. Just start it.
Just do it.
Yeah, just do it.
Yeah.
It really is. And I'll say one more thing about this, just sort of philosophically and technically. The United States, for all of its for better or worse, it is the country is set up to encourage entrepreneurial risk, to encourage risk taking. You will not be crucified if you fail. Just go do it. The system is set up to encourage. If you go and you give it your best and you happen not to succeed, you will be forgiven. The system is set up to encourage risk. You set up entities, you create shelters, you have your homestead, you do what you need to do, and then go take the risk. The system is set up to encourage risk. So you must, that's how the system is set up. So
take advantage of it.
Take advantage of it. Yes.
And I'm just going to plug my answer, Joe, real quick for to your previous question, and then also we'll wrap everything up in just a moment. But back to Joe, your comment about the recruiter potentially starting their own, leaving the firm, starting their own thing. I think for anyone that wants to be a business owner, you gotta be honest with yourself first and foremost. You gotta know yourself first and foremost, and understand what it means to be a business owner. Because at the end of the day, there's no one, you're the person that's going to be driving the success of the business. It lives or dies by yourself, by your decisions. You cannot blame others. If you are, you're not going to be successful in business. You have to have an appetite for sales. Doesn't matter what industry you're looking at. A lot of CPAs are really competent accountants, terrible salespeople. They should not start their own firm. They should be a cog in the big machine. And there's nothing wrong or shameful about it. And again, some people are really good salespeople, but terrible operators, and they just want to focus on the sales. There's nothing wrong with that either. You got to be both. So for the recruiter circumstance, if this person's making a good nut, and at least in sales too, you really have an opportunity to reap what you sow. Unlike a lot of other positions where you're fixed to a salary. With sales, it's if I'm out there, I'm busting my ass, I'm getting paid. That is a fact. Unfortunately, as a CPA at a big firm, unless I'm bringing on some big clients, I'm not really getting that much more, no matter how much I'm busting my rump. But to that extent, if you're a good salesperson, you don't want to have your own business, that's okay. So again, being brutally honest with yourself. I actually spoke with a financial advisor literally this past week, Joe. So it's funny you kind of talked about this, but similar circumstance. They're very successful at this large brokerage they're doing. But they're like, you know what, I'm making maybe 30, 40% on rev share on my book. I could go leave, but then I got to run the whole business. I don't get to focus on just servicing the clients and sales. And maybe I'm getting an extra 10% back for myself. And I don't really give a shit about that. I don't care about that additional money. Frankly, I'd rather go make that money by growing my book that much more and focusing on what I'm actually passionate about. So to your recruiter or to anyone that's in the professional services space or in any role where they're already in a sales role, where they're already getting the benefit at least of reaping what you sow, I would say be honest with yourself. You could be a phenomenal salesperson. And if you're in a position and at an organization that takes care of you properly and is fair to you, there's nothing wrong with leaving. You don't have to go out there and start your own thing. And Harry, to circle back to what you were talking about with the success of your firm and how to build a big firm, big accounting firms, big law firms, these are partnerships. I mean, they could be an S Corp, C Corp, partnership, whatever legal entity you want to call it. But at the end of the day, it's a partnership. It's an agreement. It is, one stick is weak, many sticks is strong. There's a value add to being here. Otherwise, again, when you're a partner at a big firm, you have your book of business. And if you did it right, it's portable. So you can leave at any moment in time. Obviously, there's non-competes, all the gobbledygook. But the big piece is a firm, if you're running a good firm, a good professional services firm, or a good business where you have people that are consenting to be there, you don't want to enforce a non-compete. You want to treat them well enough and give them enough of an opportunity to go, why would I ever want to leave this organization? I'm getting paid a fair share of what I'm reaping. And I'm getting the benefit of being at this organization. And that's how I'm growing my firm. Harry, I know that's how you're growing your firm. And 10 years from now, when we've doubled, tripled, have dozens of other partners and staff at our firms, we're going to go back to this little segment right here and talk about our approach to mentoring people, calling them colleagues, not staff. Yeah. If you want to go into business just so you can belittle people and go, I'm the business owner and you work for me, do us all a favor and fuck off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Put that as a short, Joe. Put that.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the
That's
short.
the clip for the short right there.
Yeah, just to jump off of what you're saying, I completely agree with that 100%. The conceit here with any of these business, and I've been very lucky to we law firms can't have non attorney partners, but our chief of staff is as much of a partner as any of us, and with my partner and with us, it's and with anybody else who comes along, it's the conceit is that we are stronger. We are the sum of our parts is stronger than each individually, and it's exponential. So that's where the leverage comes. I mean, that really is the truth. And so you've got to make sure you find good people. You've got to treat them well. They treat you, you take them all the way. You find people who are good, who are honest, who are loyal, and you're good and honest and loyal to them. You pay them well, you treat them well, and you take them all the way. Honestly, I heard that a long time ago from clients of mine. And I could tell you lots of little stories I've heard along the way. Can I tell you one right now, which is great for professional services? This is what I tell your guy right there. For sure. And this was from Tom Duffy, who was the former chairman of the State Liquor Authority. And he was he was our attorney before I was even an attorney in my first bar. And he said, he goes, you're starting your first bar, and this is what you need to tell your client. You say, look, just pour me a drink, and you pour it there. And he goes, just pour a little more right there, and you'll be fine. That's what he said. Basically, he's saying go above and beyond for your client and for the people who work for you and for the people you work with. Go above and beyond all the time, and it will always pay off. That's how you're going to be fine. If you just do a little more, you do that extra bit. And so I would say finding good partners is the most important thing, and being good to them, they'll be good to you. You got to trust. You got to give up control. If you think that this is like you're going to be the big boss telling people what to do, it's actually the opposite. You are there to facilitate other people, especially in professional services. You are, fostering their development, doing your best. I mean, look, the other thing is what Aaron said, sales is the most important component of what we do. Everything else, the technical aspects of the job, you can find people to do that. You can foster them. You can treat them well and give them a home where they don't have to go work in be a cog in some big corporate machine. They can come and get a comparable market rate, but a much better work-life balance, hybrid work, all the kind of stuff, work in a better environment, whatever. And you can offer that to them, and you'll be able to pull better people because you treat them better, and you can have a long business career. And that's definitely our approach. And as we grow, we are not greedy at all we want to develop people. We want to bring in more partners. We want to grow the firm. And that's what we're doing. That's the goal here. So I think if you, for your guy there, I think, what Aaron said, if, sales is your number one skill set. So, but I will say, if you don't want to sell, yes, don't do it. But if you don't know how, go learn. There's ways to learn how to do it, to just shake the hand, go out and do it. I don't know if you're supposed to do that, but go out and learn how to shake hands and go out there, because that's the secret. You can always find technical proficiency. I would say that you want to be competent. You don't want to be just going out there see your pants, but that's the most important thing. And then you can always fill in the blanks with all the tech and create a brain trust around you.
So if I can maybe summarize what it sounds like from this whole conversation is, you got to get energized by what you're doing. If it's draining and you're not looking forward to it, you're in the wrong industry. You got to have grit. You got to be out there hustling every day. You got to be willing to get those things off of your desk so that you're not holding anyone else up. You need to have the ability to get out there and talk to people. You got to have some ability to sell, even if it's not your default. You're not the most extroverted former high school quarterback. You can get out there and you can learn. And like you said, Aaron, the harder I work, the luckier I get. So I think that if you are someone who's looking and trying to look in the mirror, if those things sound like you, then you're probably a good person who's already entrepreneurial in whatever role you're in, but there may be more upside if you're willing to take the risk that, as Harry so accurately said, this country forgives you if things don't go wrong. But it also creates a pretty high floor if you don't want to take that risk. So using risk correctly.
I would say go take the risk, and once you're scaling, go find a good partner, a good lender, and partner who can help you through this process, because there's tons of programs out there to help you grow your business. I would say one other thing: if you're not good at sales, you can find a really good partner and be good to them. Somebody who has those sales skills, and you be the technical person, because those things work too. I know in our partnership we have different aspects and components that we roles we fill. But yes, go take the risk. Find a good partner to guide you through that, and someone like Joe.
Yeah. And just to come full circle, because we're coming to top of the hour, actually, it's kind of crazy. Harry, I feel like we could talk for 5 more hours with you. Just real quick too, Joe, I was in a marching band. I was not the quarterback of the high school football team. So you could definitely be a salesperson if you put your mind to it. But Harry, just to make this come full circle and kind of give you an opportunity just to kind of plug what you're looking for. We're at the last piece of our segment where we ask you, what is your ask for the viewers and the people in our audience? What are you looking for? What is your ask? Who would you like to be connected to? And who, what type of clients or business owners, or, what would you hope to get received from anyone that's listening right now that would be put in touch with you?
Sure. Well, anybody, if you have an existing business and you need assistance with it, if you and that, again, that sort of runs the gamut of, if you have a business dispute, or if you're looking to acquire another business, or you're looking to sell your business, or you're looking to acquire a multifamily, or you're looking to for assistance with the operation of your multifamily. If you're in the restaurant business, if you're looking to buy a restaurant, start a restaurant, aggregate your restaurants, franchise your restaurant, whatever it is, we can help you with all of that stuff. But I also would say it's important to have a team. So I think we do a really good job of putting together, of counseling clients and helping them kind of see different angles, putting them in touch with great professionals, lenders, whatever, to help guide them sort of in the totality of running their business. So I would say people looking for guidance and assistance, reach out. And we are happy to help. I mean, we're in business too, and so that's what we do. So, if we can help clients succeed, then our business succeeds. So, yeah.
Perfect.
Terrific. Well, Harry, thank you so much for jumping on. This has been a great conversation. Really appreciate the history and the sage wisdom that's been hard earned. For everyone who's watching, thank you so much for joining us for another episode of Numbers and Nonsense. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and make sure you check out Legacy Business Plans and reach out to Jenny if you wanted to have a chance to talk through if they could help you with your next acquisition. For Aaron and myself, Harry, thank you again. And we look forward to seeing everyone next week on Numbers and Nonsense.
Thanks.
Bye, everyone.